know? So at first I was trying to run a diagnostic. And then after I ran the diagnostic, I was like, okay, so that's not working. Um, I shut it down. And then when it has been like, it has been all morning trying to get in here on this thing. So I don't know what exactly. This is the second time I've had a major interruption from Spectrum to the point where I had to redo my modem,
Oh,
putting
like
in
reset.
passwords and all of that stuff, and redo all of the devices around the house. So I've had two major disruptions, and it's really like I need to call in instead of just dealing with the app because this makes no sense. Oh my God, I'm so late. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It seemed like you were on the phone anyway. You were busy anyway.
Oh, when we first started, yeah, I was on the phone with my son waiting for you to come on because I said I would talk, we could keep talking until you came on, and then just,
I'm so
just
much.
encouraging him to read this book or to listen to our broadcast because some of his experiences, he's 50% me and 50% his father,
Mm,
right? And since I have been in relationship and know a knowledge of his father since I was 15, I understand a lot of who his dad is and was. He was my friend before we had a intimate sexual contract. He was my friend for years, and
mhm.
so I was just sharing with him, the things that we were learning from this book and behaviors that I recognized in him, and to ask him to consider the possibility that there may be some, unspoken ancestral contracts
Mhm.
that need to be dismantled and,
Yeah, he's
setting himself
acknowledged.
free from them, acknowledge
Mhm.
it, set himself free from it and end it. And so he was like, oh, okay, Ma, like that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense now because he doesn't have a good relationship with his dad. Um, and so, and he knows my I've been saying this all their lives. You become that which you judge, you become that which you judge. So that's the first thing they throw up in my face when I start to talk about their parents or the teachers that they want to talk about. And I've always said that to them, like, be mindful that you're probably looking in
Mhm.
the mirror. So
Yeah.
we just had a really good, yummy conversation about that this morning. And so it was, that part of the timing was good, but this last other 20 minutes that we've been messing around with the computer,
Yeah.
I just sat here like, okay, spirit, like, come on,
Yeah, you know what? And
the
it's it's
hookup.
it's interesting because I was even like what I tried to do was I tried to come on from my phone. So I was like, Stephanie could go
Mm-hmm.
live without me, but it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't give me the option to go live.
Oh,
I was like, what the heck is that? And then it wouldn't let me even give control to you. I
wow.
was just sitting there like thinking, okay, I don't know what that is about. It's just weird. So I need to but too, I did an update on Zoom yesterday from, before all of this stuff happened. I did an update. So I don't know if it's something, I don't know what the heck that was,
Yeah.
but whatever the case may be.
Your hair.
My
You got
deepest
one of your hairs
apologies.
sticking
Huh?
up. Do like this to your
You
hair.
know,
Is that
my
your one
this
little hair right there that doesn't want
Yeah,
to
my
chill out?
alfalfa sprout. And I have been like nursing this little sprout, I've been putting stuff on there because I don't know why it just won't like lay with the rest of my
Like
hair.
it's an antenna to the top. Like
Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't want to lay down. So, I'm just like, okay. I've been putting little cream oil on there. I don't know what it is, but this stuff, Stephanie, is so I keep saying how amazing it is. Yesterday we left off of here talking about that guy Gavin.
Mm-hmm.
And where yeah, so we were talking about him and his whole story about how his father got into financial ruins. His mother was busy talking and calling him a loser. And there's so many people out here who don't have a relationship with their fathers, or they think that their mom is superwoman, she handled it all. And so they kind of walk away without realizing that that part of who they are is still, is still at play. It's a
Yeah, and to deny it, what I
play.
shared with my client yesterday, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm working on doing better about that. But to deny it is to deny a part of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
You're denying a part of yourself that is begging to be known. That's why stuff is showing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So whether we have actually had a relationship or not, it's I don't know. Did you watch? I'm always pulling up movies, but did you watch Jumanji, the original one with
The
Robin
original
Williams?
one years ago, yes.
I love that movie,
I have to
right?
check that out again.
I love that movie.
I feel
And
like I've
so
watched it several times.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were playing the pieces of the game, they rolled a piece, and that's when Robin Williams appeared. And so they were trying to resume the game because they knew that they had to get to the end of the game and scream Jumanji for the game to end. Well, at one point when they rolled it, they were like saying, "Well, it's not your turn. Well, whose turn is it?" And they were like, "Oh my God, is that, Sally from up the street who he was playing with and who got so scared that she basically left the game and left Robin Williams inside of the game." And so it was this thing of, you can't, if you got pieces missing, if you got players missing, it makes it almost impossible for you to finish what you started, because
Mm-hmm.
there's other players
Oh,
that are
yes.
are at play.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to play a game and you got a player missing. You got to go and get, if it's if you on the basketball court, if you missing the forward or you missing the center, you got to go get that player.
Mm-hmm.
So life is like that
It
too.
absolutely is.
We got players at work, and even they talk about this a miscarriage,
Yes,
an abortion. Those are
they
players.
are players. Say it
They are
again. They are
players.
players. They impact so much. And when people who have experience just say stuff like that, and then they come in contact with someone who is going through that same experience, that's because the players are saying, hey, don't forget about me. It's a reminder. We call it triggers. And then we want to fight and resist the triggers. Get back, get back, get back, instead of being open and inviting that experience in. And let me just do whatever the work is that I avoided doing.
Yeah. We trying to beat a ghost back into a into a
It's a what?
box. It is like, I am
Putting
not.
Jesus back in the tomb. You got to go back. Get back in there.
And
Yeah.
it's just not possible. And so, so when Gavin found out or figured out that, or because a lot of times when we talk about this, we want to say that, when it's a mirror, we want to say that it's got to be the exact correlation.
Mm-hmm.
And it could show up and it look different,
Mm-hmm.
but it has the same energy around it.
Yes. Yes.
So I think it is, being able to imagine into a space. Like if I wanted to imagine, um, you know, let me think of so if my if my mother had issues with her mother, and then if my grandmother had issues with her mother, like, can I imagine, like, on my level, I may think I didn't have any issues with my mother, right? At least that is my perception or my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But where can I imagine, like, if I wanted to imagine into a space that I did have an issue with my mother, how could I, like,
That's so good.
how could I breathe into that space and imagine
Allow.
something, allow
Mm-hmm.
something that I may not be aware of that may be at play anyway?
Yes.
So I remember my mother as telling me that, before you consider tying yourself down, having babies and all of this stuff, do all the stuff that you can to make
Yes.
your life to be happy,
Yes.
travel, see the
Yes.
world. Don't just get
Yes.
yourself caught up. I
Yes.
heard that message loud and clear. My sister didn't hear that message. She's looking at me like, Mom never said that to me. Well, I remember it clearly. I can
She
remember where I was standing.
she was talking to both of you guys?
No, she was talking to me.
To just you? Okay. Because
I,
it might have been a message for you.
yeah, my sister, I don't know where she was, but my sister was never the domestic type, right? She used to not be the type that cooked. She wasn't the type that was changing diapers on my mother's assembly line. It was, my sister was always doing something else, which is really interesting, based on the ways in which our lives turned out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you didn't have to tell me, um, well, at first, I guess there was this part of me that just naturally went in the kitchen and helped out, right? But you didn't have to do much to get me to help. It was kind of like that was just who I was. My sister burned a boiled egg. I mean, she was the type that the smoke alarm is going off and she trying to figure out what the heck is wrong. And she goes in there and says, oh, the water must have boiled out. It's like, she did not cook at first. She didn't do any of that kind of stuff at first. So there is this, but she was the one that had the kids and she's the one that has the now kids. So it's like this, you know, I'm the one without the kids. And so there were certain messages and certain things that my mother shared with me
Mm-hmm.
that, for whatever reason, I don't recall where my sister was. I don't recall even if that was part of her interest or anything like that. My sister was the cute girl. She grew up,
And
that
so
way.
she probably was given a different narrative
She
than
was,
you. So she's like, Mom never said that to me.
right. It's so very true. And so when I think about the messages that I received and the connectedness that I perceived to have with my mother, if I were to imagine that, I'm going to sit with that,
I
right?
want you to. That's good. I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
need to sit with that because
good.
and so I think for all of us, even sometimes when we want to deny
Yes.
that there was an issue, sometimes we just got to sit in that space
And it
and
doesn't mean that we're demonizing.
mm,
We're not demonizing. Everyone understands that everyone, I'm going to even say people who own slaves, they did the best they could with the self-awareness or the awareness that they had at the moment that they were doing it. And people will shut off their consciousness to fulfill whatever identity or assignment that they imagine that they have. We all do this. We shut off and we become blind to what's right before us. And it's okay. That's the grace, right? That's the grace. And so and I have to have this conversation oftentimes with me, also, but most times with the people that I service, because I know that until we get to the genealogy, until we get to the root, we cannot grow, we cannot heal, we don't start calling a thing, we cannot manifest all the yumminess that's inside of us that we're feeling. You coming to me because there's an angst inside of you, son. You know that there is something so much more, something so much. That's why we go to church. That's why we go and seek spiritual revelation, because we are brewing on the inside with something great.
yeah, but I think a lot of people go because they think that they're kind of, there's this guilt when you don't, right? You
Right,
feel
but that comes from somewhere too.
of guilt and conviction when you don't. And the funny thing is that we go to church. Hopefully, it is to find that to kind of
That's
to
why I feel. Mhm.
yeah to really go inside of that. But if you are busy always thinking that the God that you are trying to connect with is way over there and
Yes.
not right where you are, you will still have those issues.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this becomes about finding our own truth, our own voice, not by
Yes.
looking outside of ourselves, but
Yes.
really by
Go
sitting
within.
in this, sitting
Yes.
in this space and asking the questions. So if I was to keep asking over and over again, show me what issues I have with my mother, show me what I am to heal, not just between my relationship with my mother, because my relationship with my mother is my mother's relationship with her
With her
mother,
mother.
her
That's right.
mother's relationship with her mother.
Yes,
And so
ma'am.
as I'm trying to heal the timeline,
Yes.
show me what it is that I'm to do.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And so I think that that is for each and every one of us.
Absolutely.
That's our work to do.
It's
Good
the work.
morning, Ruth. Good
Good
morning. Good
morning,
morning.
Ruth.
Yeah, it's our work to do. And so to the degree that we're just sitting up there and we're like, this is, it's not coming to us, right? If we just, it doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't go away. It just, okay, let me circle around the block and come at her a different way.
I was just going to say, I was watching one of your clips from, I think you had put an old post on there from
Uh,
one of your clips, and it's about the question. And when I saw that statement about asking the right question, I was like, that's it. That's the magic. And so when we keep asking the right question, I have a friend who will say to me, Stephanie, can you ask that question in a different way? And I love that. I love that they do that, because it helps me to actually get a little bit more clear about really what it is I want to know, right? So
mhm.
asking the question in a different way helps me to get clear about what it is I want to know. And I think the same is for us in our journey. This journey of doing the work of healing our traumas from our ancestors is the right question, asking a more clear question.
So, one of the things that I used to do, and a lot of people used to ask me, because I don't think that I've ever like resided well in traditional religion, right? And so people used to ask me, even before I found what is called New Thought, people used to ask me, well, how did you get to the place where you felt like this was okay, right? Where you felt like you had a different relationship with God. And so I was like, my discovery was through prayer. And my prayer or my talk with God was not like I perceive other people to talk to God. I'm like saying to God, like, God, I said, I don't understand. You told me you weren't a deceiver. So if you are not a deceiver, why do you make my body in the way that you did? Why do I have sexual urges? Just so you can tell me, ooh, bad girl. Or why do you put me? And so I was always asking the why questions, trying to understand and then listen on a deep level. I don't need Pastor so-and-so to tell me. I don't need this book over here. What I knew is that God speaks to me. I hear God speaking to me. And so my relationship is not based on somebody else's stuff. It's like when I hear it, I know how it comes in. I know how it feels when it comes in. I don't need to, get there and talk about, well, I heard God say, well, Sandra, or I don't need to hear the condemnation messages that other people come up with. I needed to learn how to sit in the silence until I got the direction I was supposed to get. And I can remember so clearly when I was in college, laying on that wood floor, acting as if I was dying for the cause. You know how you perceive priests and nuns and monks to be like they hitting
Laying out
themselves and
prostrate.
yeah, that's exactly it. Prostrating themselves before God. I'm laying on the wood floor.
Oh
and
my
I'm
God,
saying,
guilty.
I'm not moving from here until I get my blessing. I'm not moving 1 inch until I understand. Make me understand. And then if I got something, and just like in the Bible, when he asked for directions and he was like, well, make the fleece wet and the grass dry, or make this happen and make that happen. I was like, and I asked for clarity. Show me clarity. Make it so that it's so plain for me that I'm not mistaking this. And when I did that, sometimes it's so funny, because you know how I tell you, sometimes it's a song will come on the radio, somebody will knock on your door, and I just be sitting there thinking like, damn, this is good.
But you have to ask.
Oh my gosh. And be open for however it shows up. It could be in a dream, it could be in a song, it could be on a little piece of paper you pick up, or it could be a grasshopper that you run into, or a little mouse running down the street that, why did I see that? It could be, and then once you are open to this, know that, oh wow, it's unusual for me to see a mouse crossing in front of me as I'm driving, right? So now if I see that, oh, there's a book that I have on my shelf that's going to tell me exactly what that mouse came to tell me, or that grasshopper came to tell me. It's going to give me the messages of that, because God uses any and everything.
Everything.
Oh my gosh. So I didn't have to go trying to, get somebody else to decipher this information.
Yeah. And I think that that's the beauty of grounding. I think that when, we talk about the earth, and you and I do a lot of conversation about the earth and gardening, it because I feel like it's a part of our lifestyle that we have just like thrown away. We pollute the earth, we pollute the grounds, we throw things on the ground, we have no respect for it. But once you start to have respect for all areas of this life, specifically the ground and the earth, where our food comes from, where we originate from, if we want to go with the court, yes. So when we start to have respect for it, then we can have respect for all the things that show up in it. Like
Yes.
that's the great equalizer, in my humble opinion. It brings all things together.
And here's the other thing is good morning, Sandra.
Good morning, Sandra.
So here's the other thing that I want, we have defined God as what we think God is. We put God in this little box of our understanding and put it up high, and there we leave
out of reach.
But if we recognize that God is in all, through all, as all, in this moment, the only power and presence, right?
Oh my gosh.
We then begin to see everything as being, I want to go to the matrix now. Everything is plugged in and everything can be used by God. Even the person that you are judging, especially the person that you're
judging. And that if that person is you,
yes.
_ especially you.
Yes,
especially you.
And sometimes we disregard what little kids say to us, and little kids be so on point. But when we have an ear to hear, right, then you can hear it in everything. It's not just, secular radio or Christian radio. It's all. It's
our messenger
used by this wonderful, wonderful allness that is God. So, so when we talk about these relationships, when we talk about this here, this Gavin just reconnecting with his father, there is this one thing we know, and we've been given certain instructions. Jesus did leave a blueprint on how to do this. One thing we know is how important it is to forgive.
Yes.
And this is not just like, some stuff. It's not just this person and not that person, or this situation and not that situation. It's not me and not you. It's forgiveness. Because when you're holding animosity, when you're holding grievances against somebody,
or yourself,
that stuff blocks. And so it becomes that, it blocks the flow. It tries to redirect the flow. And so we don't want to be working with carotid arteries that's carotid and blocked up by our own unforgiveness. Yeah. It's like, how do I get a little light in there? And and sometimes we don't even know why people are holding stuff. Good morning, Everett. God
Good
works
morning, Everett.
through you. Morning, ladies. Morning, ladies. Yeah.
Morning.
So sometimes I'm just like, let me just give you a blanket apology, because if you don't, sometimes I don't even know what you're mad at me about. Like, I'm sorry. I don't even know what and it don't take anything away from me. There are so many people who will not. So first off, it's not always about the apology, right? It's not about the apology. The apology is just a formality, right? It's the forgiveness that matters. Now, I have a tendency to, I don't want you holding anything against me. Even if I'm not holding anything against you, I don't want you holding anything against me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that because it impacts me, but because I know it impacts you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's my will that we all be free. It's my will that we all be forgiven. It's my will that this be done. So for me, it's like I ain't gonna sit there and say, but I was right. I could be right
Oh, right. Yeah.
all day long. I could be right all day long. But you know what?
But right doesn't always render relationships. And that's a thing that we have to understand, that, you can be right and be out of fellowship, or you can be in fellowship and just decide, how do I collaborate with this person in this stuff right here that we have? Is it necessary to be right to get it
You,
done, get the
you know,
job done?
Jesus said, agree with your brother, right? Agree with him. Agree with me. Even when I'm wrong, just, because if you got something against your brother, go make peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about whether or not
They collaborate, they agree with you.
yeah, I just be like, yeah, I can let that go. I can just say, okay, I'm gonna take one for the team, so to speak. I'm gonna take that one. Because this is it don't matter in the end, right? So the question becomes, you know, if this was about if this was really about love, if this was really about revealing um something that is supposed to get me beyond where I am, what is it that I cannot let go of? What is it that, and I know so many of you probably have something in your mind that you're thinking right now. Whether it is, oh, I got, so and so stole from me. I had that happen,
Yeah.
right? Don't
Yeah.
slap or make peace.
Who is that? That sound like Eric.
That's Everett that said
Oh,
that.
Everett.
Um, and everybody is talking about the big slap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
Alan and I, huh?
and here's the deal. So if we are holding on to ourselves, and I desire to slap you, now I have caused grief for me. I have caused grief in me. The four agreement says I have now put myself into a prison.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've now imprisoned myself. And
Yeah.
most negative behavior is from a self-imposed prison in the first place that has gone unexamined.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just leave that there.
Yeah. And I think that, there is so much, hopefully, that can be learned from that incident.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we live in a culture that's, ooh, right? We live in that kind of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that we do, because what happens is so that should have been a teachable moment. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
It's teachable in that there was a moment in which Will was laughing. He looks at his wife. She is not. So now there is I got to stand up. I take one step, two step, up this step. I take this step, this step, this step. At what point is there a part of us that's saying, you know what, I can choose something different.
Yes.
In A Course in Miracles, they said that the Son of God forgets to laugh. Right? Where do we take stuff so serious about our ego, about pride, about all of this other stuff? Where do we take stuff so serious that there is not, and I know because all of us go through this. There was some place in that process where he was getting a message, go sit your ass down.
Oh yeah. Remain playful and trust the divine. That's the messenger for me. It has been for the last 3 or 4 years. Remain playful and trust the divine. So when I started getting all crazy on the inside of myself, I am reminded, remain playful and trust the divine. It is so crucial.
Yes.
And I believe that message that I had the exact same message given to me. It didn't come on my own. When the gentleman that murdered my uncle, when he got off that bus at the VA hospital and walked his tail down the Brecksville roadways where ain't no sidewalks to get to my uncle's house to murder him. He had the time, by the time he got on the bus downtown Cleveland, got off the bus in Brecksville, walked from the VA hospital down that long road, no sidewalk, no nothing. There was a lot of time to decide to do something different, right? But and that's funny that you said that to me, because I used to say that over and over and over again when that incident happened. Like, wow, I know that spirit was ministering and saying, dude, turn around, get back on that bus. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right.
This is not that.
And there is this. So now, and even in the instance that this happened, we still trust, right? There is still that point of trust that this too is going to work out for the good, right? There is still trust. And so when hey Myron, good morning.
Good morning. Oh, Myron, I was just thinking about you this morning. That's cool. Wow. Okay, I will be in touch today. That's good. All right.
So there are so many moments in what we are doing that we get messages over and over again that tell us, that we can make another choice, we can make another decision. But there is then this override. The ego sometimes has this tendency to override and then start talking about, but you can't let them get away with this because so-and-so, Jada ain't gonna let you back in the house if you just laugh and let
whatever the narrative is,
right? Whatever that is, right? And so there is this override that now that I have committed to this thing, now I still have to carry this thing out. And so when we look at these moments for each and every one of us, it's almost as if, and I know I have had this thing of what people call out of body experiences, right? Because what I know is that I'm not in my body. My body is what I use to maneuver around this planet with. I control this body.
Right.
I tell it what to do. It does not dictate to me. And so if I tell my body that I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna do this, my body is not willing this. My body is not caught up in this. It is my mind that is directing this show. And to the degree that all of a sudden I get some new information, I get something new that says to me, you know what, this person before me is my brother. This person before me is simply here doing the job that he was hired to do.
It's so true.
He is
literally.
and I'm sorry, like I was telling somebody yesterday, I really liked that G.I. Jane, Demi Moore playing G.I. Jane. For me, as a younger woman, I thought that was a powerful ass role. And there is no part of me that would see that as an insult unless I was just being, I mean,
because it's time we better recognize who we are as the feminine. Like it's just, yeah, it's the season. Let life unfold.
Original superhero. and it was a true story.
Yes.
And so what was this about? Alopecia? Hell, we all got some darn hair loss. What the heck?
Who knows? But well, we know it was all ego for sure.
Yes. So
gone awry.
so all of this, I'm assuming, is something that is there to inform and enrich not just Will Smith and Chris Rock, but it's there to inform all of us.
All of us, yes. Please allow it.
To think about who it is that we desire to be. And when we're just stuck in the ooh, without really understanding that there is something more for us to glean in that situation about who we want to be. We just watch Gatanji doing the stuff where she was getting smacked down repeatedly by old white men.
Right.
And in the face of all of that,
come on.
In the face of all that, she still sat there in dignity.
Yes.
And smiled and said, "Thank you, Senator, for that question." Right?
And I got you.
Are men any less capable of that? I mean, come on.
They're not. They're not less capable, but they need to be held accountable to that standard, no matter what. And you know, it's a hard lesson and a beautiful one at the same time if we allow it to be. And you know, and I see you doing this food thing, and Spirit was saying, my desire is that people would grab their heart space and be like, oh,
yeah,
you know, grabbing here and then your solar plex area, like, whoa, that's a me.
Right.
That's my brother. That's me. That's
right.
What is this thing that we are doing? You know?
Yes,
don't go back to sleep.
We could choose love instead of that. A Course in Miracles says that we can have a miracle or we can have a grievance, but we can't have both.
Misery, you can pitiful or powerful. We get to
yes. So we're always making these choices. We're always making these choices. And so my thing is, let's go high with it. Let's do a Michelle Obama. Let's go high. Not there. That was just, that was just sad. It was sad. And my thing is let's send some healing energy
absolutely
to that whole situation.
Absolutely. And to affirm that we are going to fall down and get up right away too. We're not getting ready to linger in this and let it be a thing, that we need to get up. Like get up right away. Like, all right, what do we do next?
Yeah, I love the way Will Smith, not Will Smith. I love the way Chris Rock pivoted. Like, let's carry on. Now, I still got a job to do. There was no way he could drop the mic and say, "I'm done." This dude just slapped me. I'm done. He was able to do a pivot. It's like, right? Jesus said, turn to him your other cheek too. Turn your other cheek and offer him that one. Dude, did that make you feel better? Because I'm telling you, if I was Chris Rock, I would have at least ducked. I would have at least, whoa, dude, I would have at least done, but Jesus says, turn your other cheek to him too. Damn. Oh, that was so good. So yeah, Everett said comedians make light of hardship in order to make us
Yes, they do.
feel secure with our condition.
Yes.
Feel secure. So and the interesting thing is that we sit in front of comedians, and there is this part of us that I don't know, what do we think, that they're not going to be comical, or just not about us, or somebody told me one time, don't sit too close to the stage.
I love it. I always like to sit up front. I love it. I just love it. And I love to be called on. And it never fails. I just love it.
I tell you, I have been flabbergasted, I have been flabbergasted
I
by
have been
comedians.
hit by D.L. Hughley, by Sinbad. I have been the butt of many ahas. And it's fun. It's
You,
because they're so intelligent. And it's
yeah, yeah. One time I was down at a comedy club downtown, whatever the name of it is, Improv or something, and I was right up on the stage, and this comedian started asking me questions like, "Are you married?" And I was like, "Nope." He was like, "Well, tell me what you're looking for. Tell me what you're looking for, so we can find them right here in this audience." And I just sat there like all wide eyed, like,
yes.
like, yeah. So but I never, I think that when people feel insecure about themselves, those things kind of land in a different way. But I was just sitting up there thinking to myself, like, I don't have a list that I can give you.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know
let me go and do something with that.
but then people in the audience started shouting out stuff. They started shouting out this stuff that I was
Yeah.
supposed to want, and I'm just sitting there like, okay, but I don't go to a comedian and expect it not to be comedic,
Thank you.
and their material has to come from
From
somewhere.
somewhere. That's right. That's right.
So we could either get caught up in, oh, poor me, not me, don't look at me, or we can stand there like the superwoman that
That's
Jada was
right.
looking
Here
like,
I am.
because she looked like a superwoman. I mean, just come on. And then all of a sudden, what? We see how quickly that armor falls away and turns into, oh, that was just an act. Like if you gonna wear
Oh,
army
I just got
green,
goosebumps.
if you gonna
Yes.
wear army green like you got on today, if you gonna wear army green, have your head shaved in a powerful kind of way, and then turn around and act fake when you get what? It ain't even somebody throw a little pebble in your
Or act
direction.
real.
Come on.
And the outside is the mask.
Ah, yes, like you were talking about yesterday, right? The mask that we wear. So what I'm hoping is that we can use these moments to consider that we have a time between, and when I was talking about the out of body experience, right? I have had out of body experiences where I've seen myself, when how they used to call it clocking, right? I've seen myself as I spent out of control, right? I've been sitting there as if I'm watching myself and thinking like, hey, girl, sit, check, like, dial it back. Why are you tripping? But we watch ourselves go spastic over stuff.
Yes.
And especially when it comes down to people we're close to, like our loved ones and our family. Because in
Yes.
those places, we feel free to act a fool. More so than when we are around perfect strangers.
Right.
We see ourselves acting a fool, and we sitting up there looking as if we looking over at ourselves, wondering,
How do I stop this train?
yeah, exactly. Now, and you feel like you've committed to it, right? like you've committed to the ride, so now you got to ride
Oh,
it
it's
out.
so embarrassing. Yes, it's true.
Oh my gosh. Instead of just saying, you know what, never mind. Never mind. My brother me and my brother used to go at it. We would be like head to head. And and it just be like, you just wonder, like, okay, is it that serious? Is it that serious? Myron said he's met Chris Rock and he is a brilliant, thoughtful, and warm man. The comedian is his job, but the man is highly intelligent,
Yes.
not just a jester, right? And so
that's right. I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I get that and to be a comedian, I really do believe that you have got to be able to dig down. Not only that, but sometimes you hear like, where is this gonna land today, right? And so I love the way comedians can have us look at what seems on the surface to be stuff that we just take for granted, but it causes us to look much deeper. And a jester, I love that you use that word, because a jester was a part of the royal court.
That's right.
And it was their job to make fun of and make light of the things that were happening. So it was almost their job to enlighten people. And enlighten, don't you love the way that fits in too with a comedian? I'm gonna put light around it, not just so you can see it, but so you can receive it.
Yes.
And so it's so good when we think about it from that perspective. Now, I will tell you, I got mad respect for how Chris Rock handled that. I got mad respect that he received the hit, right? Because when Alan asked me the other day, yesterday, he asked me, he was like, he said, do you think he would have hit Billy Crystal like that? And I said, I think Billy Crystal probably would have ducked and ran, right? Ducked and swerved and been like, dude, what you doing? What you doing? Right? I think other people probably, but Will Smith needed to get that off. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna receive this and I'm gonna turn the other cheek. Right. So it's good. It's good. Everett told us, he said, y'all are way over time.
Well, thank you. We started late.
We started really
and we had stuff in us that we needed to get out.
He said he's good with it, but we way over time.
Thank you, Everett.
I got on here really late because I was having internet issues, and so we didn't even come on until almost 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, yeah.
But yes. But yes, and so it's a woman's prerogative.
That's it.
to make sure that this recorded show is the full of what we wanted to share. So we didn't get back to Gavin because Everett, you brought up the slap.
How about that?
Because I wasn't even coming on here to talk about that, right? But Everett brought it up. So
good. That's good.
Yeah. Really good. But I think that so there's a part of me that would love to understand that the walk and for me it wasn't so much the slap was one thing, but it was the walk from the seat to the slap.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
that for me was one of those things that was like,
what's up with that? Yeah, what was happening?
Yeah I was just like,
I would say in therapy, who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that right there? Who is that? Who's doing this talking? Who is that? Yoda. Who is that you say you are? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Somebody else was doing that walking. And I pray and I know, I want to believe that Will has asked himself that too.
Yeah.
Who
And
is
it's
that?
not
Who
just
is
about the reaction of the rest of the
world?
world.
No, no, no.
It's
No, no,
the
no.
reaction that's coming up from inside of him.
Who was that?
And here's the thing too. I don't like to use the word sin because that's not the mentality that I come from. However, the word sin means I missed the mark. So in the moments where I'm missing the mark, where was I coming from? When the moments where I'm not seeing love, where I'm not in a space of forgiveness, where am I coming from in those moments? Who's running this?
Who is it? Who am I? Who did you think you were liberating or whatever the narrative that was there? So no, that's really a good question. And the walk is a nice place to be. I mean, we should all examine the walk before the time between the time we get up and the decisions that we make. Like, what was that? Was that? That's good.
Yeah. All right. So
thanks, everyone.
Yay. This has been wonderful. And what brought me here is what Winnie asked the question. Yes, what got me to this space? What got me to this? Yes, what got me here? What brought me here? Right? I mean, that could have turned out so many different ways, but the way that it did gives us a lot to ponder, you know.
Real life, not TV.
Yeah, who do I choose to be in this world? How do I choose to show up? You know, Will Smith has all of these motivational videos out here about choices and making choices with your life. And yeah, dude, that was a fumble. It was a fumble. But we're gonna use that too.
Absolutely. That is my deepest prayer, is that we use it for our highest good.
Don't get caught up in the let's say the like
right. Yes. Come on. Yes. Show me me.
Yeah.
Show me me. Show me me. Show me me in this, right?
Yeah. Hey,
you want my leopard print?
I got one this leopard print. I'm wondering why I have this one in here. All right.
You get that one from the event?
Huh?
You got that one from the event?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I love you.
I know that's right.
Yes. I love y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. We all need to hear that from time.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Just that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for this powerful conversation.
Yes.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
I appreciate, love and adore you, Winnie, Everett, Myra,
all of you.
Ruth, everybody. Know that you are loved, you are honored, you are deeply appreciated. And in every instance, we get to ask ourselves the question about, you know, like I say, who running this shit? That's what I ask myself all the time. Who running this shit? Because
a good question.
I'm not trying to drive from the back seat. My heart, who I am, is
let her rip.
So,
have an amazing day.
Yes, you too.
Yes.
You too, darling. Thank you. So yeah, when you ask yourself the question, don't let it be your ego that's running your life, right? Let it be something bigger than that. All right, so I'm out of here too. I get to record my radio show today. and I do my podcasting and all of that stuff. I get to do that, and I'm so honored to do so. I don't know that I haven't been doing it on here, but I know that that is always an option. So so thank you for being here this morning. And remember, we are doing this book, It Didn't Start With You, by Mark Wolin. Anytime you want to join us in the discussion, the reading, you are welcome to, because we are all doing this work, I hope. So look at your relationships with your parents, with your family, and figure out what's informing you and the decisions you're making. This is powerful work that we're doing. It's powerful. So I hope that at some point you find something in here that directs you where it is that you desire to go. All right, with that, I'm out of here. See ya. All right, bye.